Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video, and today I'm going to be giving you a quick review on my thoughts on Top Gun Maverick, or Top Gun 2. I went to see this yesterday in IMAX, and I've got to say, I was slightly looking forward to it over the past couple of years since we've heard about it. I think it was originally supposed to be out in early 2020, but we know the world went to chaos then, so it's been put off a few years. I've enjoyed the original Top Gun. It's been something I've watched on and off again throughout the years. It's a fun film, just a real blokey, manly film. I know some people seem to think the volleyball scene might have a different kind of scenario in mind, but no, it's just a manly man film with a little bit of a weird volleyball scene. And when I heard that they were going to be doing a second one, I kind of thought, I'm not sure about this, because the original film kind of just feels a perfect encapsulation of that time, and it didn't feel like it maybe needed a sequel. But when they got announced that they were going to be doing another one, and we got the director of Joseph Kosinski coming in, I thought, okay, I know him and Tom Cruise have worked well together. They did Oblivion back in, let me just check, it was in, oh god, nearly 10 years ago now, in 2013, Oblivion. Really, really good sci-fi film. If you've not seen Oblivion, check it out. I also like his previous film before that, Tron Legacy. I'm hoping we get to see another Tron film sometime in my lifetime, but who knows. But today we're here for Maverick, for Top Gun Maverick. So yes, I saw it yesterday in IMAX. Personally, like it's a great way to see it, full frame, in just encapsulating you just perfectly, just the whole screen just surrounding you. The film starts off straight away with the iconic Top Gun theme, and straight away you're just like, okay, I'm in for it. It does play up to nostalgia quite a lot, but it works really well for the story. The overall synopsis of the story is Tom Cruise is still a pilot. He's done nothing else but be a pilot, and at this stage in his life when we meet him, he's a test pilot for the next generation of fighter jets, testing for the Navy, and goes out to test a flight. But as he gets there, he finds out that the whole plan, the whole thing that they're doing has been shit-canned. They're going to move that funding somewhere else, so the plane that everything they've worked on doesn't happen. And in Tom Cruise style, in Maverick style, he's like, well, they've not canned us yet, we've still got one more flight in us, no one needs to know. Goes out on this flight trying to reach Mach 10, which I don't even know how fast that is supposed to be. The plane looks great. It looks like a bit like a B-52 bomber stealth fighter, or I think it's the Blackwing or Black Hawk. I can't remember what it is, from the X-Men. Very futuristic looking plane, and I kind of thought, are we going to see more of that later? No, we don't. It doesn't survive. He gets to the speed limit he's supposed to, pushes it just past, because he can never do as he's told, as we knew from the original Top Gun Maverick. He just cannot stay in his lane. He always has to push things just a little too far, just to see how far the limit really is, where the danger zone is, if you want. The plane doesn't survive, and he gets court-martialed, something that he's used to in his career, and he gets pulled up to, we have John Hamm, I can't remember the other guy, but they're in charge of the military. John Hamm, in the scale of the Top Gun cycle, he was a class after, either a class after or a couple of classes after Maverick graduated, so he's a pilot as well. And he finds out that, you know, this is it. He's gone too far, as always. But he gets a call at the last minute of like, okay, we've been called back to Top Gun, and the way that this says it, and the pause is sort of like, you've been called back to Top Gun. It's like, ooh, yes. But as an instructor, behest on his friend Iceman, who's now, I think he's the rear admiral or lieutenant, the top dog, the big cheese, the big honcho. He's in charge of it, and it seems throughout Maverick's past 30 years since the original Top Gun, Iceman's had his back. They're now good friends after everything that happened in that first film, and whenever he's in trouble, Iceman comes along to save the day. So Maverick goes back to Top Gun to meet the new recruits, because they've got a special mission that only he has probably the skills to be able to train the new bunch of kids. We get introduced into all of them, and there's a couple of main guys. There's Miles Teller, who plays Rooster, Goose's son. From we did see him in a little bit in the first film. Wasn't Miles Teller. We have his foil, his version of Iceman. Just looking at IMDb to try and remember his name. Hangman, played by Glenn Powell, which he does a good job. He plays the sort of cocky arsehole really well. We have Monica Barbaro as Phoenix, a female pilot, probably one of the weakest characters, and she feels like her character was potentially shoehorned in just so they have a female fighter pilot at the top class. God bless Monica. She's a lovely, beautiful, cute-looking girl, but she's like 5'2", 5'3", weighs maybe 50 kilograms. There is no way she would be able to take the G's on compression going on within them planes, let alone use the sticks and fight against the pressure of everything. She just looks far too weak, and her character and whole involvement feels like someone head in one of the studios were like, guys, I know what we're doing with this film, but you've got to have a girl in. I'm sorry, you've got to just throw a girl in. There's a whole group of class, but it seems the film is very focused on just a few. Within the story, Rooster's always wanted to be a pilot, following his dad's footsteps. It feels like he's following his dad's footsteps a bit too much. He has a mustache, and at a couple of points we see him in a Hawaiian shirt, which feels like a very much an ode to his dad, and kind of following and living on in his footsteps, which is kind of weird because it's like he's not forged his own path in life. He's kind of just done what his dad did, even down to like how he dresses and looks, which is a little bit weird, but you know, you can let that go. The other pilots in the class, they've been told they've got 2 weeks to train for this massive mission, and only Maverick can help them, so that we get the usual sort of group sort of dynamics where you have a couple of guys who are just happy to help out, work with everyone. You have Rooster, who seems very cautious about things. You have Hangman, who is very cocky and will just go out at it. He's in between kind of the Maverick and Iceman role, kind of both of them together for this new group of kids. I don't want to say kids, they're all probably my age, in the mid to late 30s, to try to get to this new mission. So there's a lot of teamwork, team bonding. We don't have a volleyball scene this time. It's replaced by an American football scene, so you get that. We also have a new love interest for Maverick, which is Jennifer Connelly, who works brilliantly with Tom Cruise. In the story of the film, Tom Cruise has been back to Top Gun before and tried out to be a coach or an instructor. Didn't work out well, but while he was back in the town, he forged a relationship, Jennifer Connelly's character, called Penny, and they seem to have had flings on and off throughout time, but as soon as they meet, you know something's going to happen. Obviously, it's the Hollywood cliche that there's always a love interest, but Jennifer Connelly works really well off against him. She doesn't take his shit, but she's playful with him. It's like there's still feelings there between them, but she's not letting him in totally. There's a lot of good back and forth between them. But as for the film itself, I won't go too much and spoil a lot of it, because I think it's really worth seeing. Like for me, as soon as the film finished, I turned to my friend and he just went, "Oh, that was a good film." And I just looked at him and went, "A proper film." It feels like a proper film. It didn't have any weird political stuff in, other than the introduction of Phoenix, Monica. I just don't think in real life a girl that tiny and that slight would make it to the heights of where she is. That's the only thing I feel was slightly nudged in this world, but overall the film's fantastic. It hits on the nostalgia points a lot, but that kind of works well for people that may not have seen the first film. It sets you up in a way that you understand what's going on, you understand the backstory. We have Val Kilmer, turns up in it for a few scenes, which is great. It turns out that he was introduced into the film a bit later on while production was going on, but you've got to have Iceman back in the film. Like, you know, if you're going to put him in the film and just say, you know, show text messages or phone calls between them, it's good to see him in the film. And I do like seeing Val back. He's a good dude. So it's nice seeing him back. The action in the film is fantastic. There's a lot of action within the planes and showing them around, like in the original film, like doing lots of different tests, and you can just see some of it. You know Tom's a crazy bastard. He will go out there and film and do some of this, And for me, if I was if I was an actor in Hollywood and my agent was like, do you want to go audition for the role of Top Gun 2 and be in it? It's like, yeah, because one of the best parts is you get to go in these planes. You'll be, you know, flown around while they're filming you, and you've got to react and do all the sort of looking around like you're in the flight and playing around. And it's like, that'd have been amazing. Like, I'd have done it at like half the price just for the sheer enjoyment of being in one of those planes flying around. But they're a good group of new. I don't know if they're going to move into the future and do another Top Gun, like Top Gun Next Generation or anything like that. But there's 2 films back to back with a 30 years, maybe 30 plus years in between. I think it's fantastic. It just feels like a really good modern, I'm not going to say macho film, but it does feel like a good blokey action film. There's always those films that once you get out of the cinema, you just want to go do something. Like 300. I remember going to the cinemas watching that, and straight afterwards just wanted to go to the gym and smash a load of weights and do loads of sit-ups. I remember coming out of Rambo 4 and just being really pumped up, and Jason Bourne. There's some just action films that once you get out, your adrenaline's going, you're like, oh, I just want to go do something. I just want to go do something and just get rid of this adrenaline. And this is one of those films. I will be going to see it again soon. They do 4D cinemas in England near me, where it's the cinema experience where the seats move and shake around and they have like wind effects that blow at you. I did go see Spider-Man, whatever way home this new one was, and that was a fun enjoyment. But because that was my first viewing of seeing that film, it took me out. Whereas now I've seen the film, I want to enjoy it as a 2.5+ hour roller coaster. For me, this is one of my favourite films I've seen this year. We have more of Tom Cruise later in the year with Mission Impossible 7 Part 1. Can't remember what it's called now. Dead Reckoning or something Reckoning. But as for Top Gun Maverick, it hits all the nostalgia points. It doesn't play up on it too much and cheapens the effect. It uses it perfectly. It has all the similar music beats you would want from a Top Gun film. The theme's in there, Danger Zone's in there. Like, the theme, as soon as that hits straight at the beginning and throughout the film, it's up there with like the Rocky theme tune on Eye of the Tiger, and some of the Star Wars themes. Like that Top Gun theme tune is just going to be iconic forever. I love this film. I cannot wait to go see it. There's a long weekend coming up in England. I might try and persuade and talk to my friends to be like, I know we only saw it 4 or 5 days ago, but can we go see it again? I want to see this film again. It's so damn good, and it's refreshing to see a film like this in today's world. It probably shouldn't exist, but it does, and I'm thankful for that. So if you've seen it, let me know your thoughts below. I don't want to go into any spoilers, because there is a few twists and turns throughout the film, and overall I do think it has a great ending. But I do think as a series, I think just 1 and 2 is fine. Just like Ghostbusters 1 and 2 is just fine. Afterlife's great, but 1 and 2 is fine. The Matrix 1's fine. Like, sometimes some films can just sit by themselves, but as something that did come out as a sequel, I didn't really want it, but I'm glad it's here. So thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts below. What you think of this? Like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff for algorithms. Catch you guys in the next video. Bye.